Let me tell you something, betrayal cuts deeper than any wound. It ain't just pain, it's a lesson written in blood, a scar that whispers the truth you refuse to see. You gave your love, your trust, your loyalty, and in return they handed you a knife with your name on it. Some betrayals you don't forgive, some betrayals you walk away from and never look back. Because the moment you let someone stab you twice with the same blade, it ain't betrayal anymore, it's a choice. And that choice will break you. There are 7 betrayals in relationships that no apology, no regret, no I swear I'll change should ever undo. Listen to me carefully, because if you ignore these, you are handing them the power to destroy you again. Betrayal 1. Lying to your face and calling it love. Lies are the silent poison that seeps into a relationship, eroding the very foundation it was built on. At first they might seem small, harmless, even just a little twist of the truth, a slight bending of reality. But over time, those lies become a web so tangled that you can no longer tell where the truth ends and the deception begins. Imagine this: you meet someone and their words feel like a warm embrace. They tell you everything you want to hear. I would never hurt you. You're the only one for me, trust me. And so you do. You lower your guard, open your heart, and believe in the world they paint for you. But what happens when you start noticing the cracks? When the words they say don't align with their actions? When their promises become empty echoes of what once felt like truth? Lies are not just words, they are choices. And when someone you love looks you in the eye and lies to your face, they are making a choice to prioritize their own comfort over your trust. They are choosing deception over honesty, convenience over respect. They are choosing to manipulate reality instead of standing in it with you. And here's the most dangerous part: when someone lies to you repeatedly, they're not just betraying your trust, they're reshaping your perception of reality. They are making you question what's real and what isn't. Have you ever confronted someone about a lie only for them to twist it back on you? You're overthinking. You're being insecure. Why don't you trust me? Suddenly you're the problem. You start doubting yourself. Maybe you didn't misunderstand. Maybe you were being too sensitive. Maybe, just maybe, the lie wasn't a lie at all. This is how manipulation works. Lies are not just a betrayal of truth, they are a betrayal of your own mind. The more you accept them, the more you begin to second guess yourself, until one day you wake up and don't even recognize your own instincts anymore. You stop trusting your gut. You silence your intuition. You become trapped in their version of the story because little by little, they've rewritten it in a way that keeps them in control. A person who truly loves you will never make you feel crazy for seeking the truth. They will never gaslight you into doubting what you know deep down. Love is not supposed to be a puzzle where the pieces never quite fit. Love should not feel like a maze where every turn leads you further into confusion. Love is built on transparency, on honesty, on the kind of trust that doesn't require you to play detective every time something feels off. But when someone lies to your face and calls it love, they are playing a dangerous game. They are gambling with your heart, believing that you'll always forgive, that you'll always believe, that you'll always be too afraid to walk away. And here's the truth: they don't lie because they love you. They lie because they love themselves more. They lie because it benefits them. They lie because it's easier than owning up to the truth. And maybe you've been there before. Maybe you've caught someone in a lie and convinced yourself that it was a one-time thing, that they didn't mean it, that it was just a small mistake. But let me tell you something: when someone lies once and gets away with it, don't stop. They learn. They learn that they can deceive you and still keep you. They learn that you'll accept a well-crafted excuse over the painful truth. And that is how the cycle begins. First, it's the little things: I was just at a friend's house when they were somewhere else. I didn't see your message when they clearly did. Small lies, easy to overlook. But then the lies grow. They evolve. They become deeper, more damaging. I would never cheat on you while they're entertaining someone else behind your back. I'm telling you the truth while hiding the reality that would shatter you. And what do? You hold on, you hope. Because love isn't supposed to hurt like this, right? You think that if you love them enough, if you forgive them enough, they will change. But lies don't just stop because you want them to. Lies stop when you stop tolerating them. When you stop accepting apologies that are nothing more than empty words. When you stop allowing someone to manipulate you into believing that deception is love. Because let's be clear, love does not exist where lies do. Love is honesty, even when it's difficult. Love is transparency, even when it's uncomfortable. Love is choosing truth even when a lie would be easier. If someone truly respects you, they will tell you the truth even when it makes them look bad. They will own their mistakes instead of covering them up. They will value your trust more than their own selfish need to avoid consequences. But someone who lies to your face and calls it love, they are showing you exactly who they are. They are showing you that their words mean nothing, that their promises are just illusions, that their I love you carries no weight, because real love does not require deception. And if you've ever been in that situation, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know the feeling of hearing a lie and wanting so badly to believe it. You know the way your heart sinks when you realize that the person you love has looked you in the eye and fed you fiction, and yet you convince yourself that maybe this time is different, that maybe they're telling the truth now, that maybe, just maybe, things will change. But let me tell you, change does not come from repeated betrayal. Change comes from accountability. Change comes from the willingness to be honest, even when it's hard. And if someone is not willing to give you that, then they do not deserve the love you so freely give. Because love should not leave you questioning. Love should not leave you paranoid. Love should not feel like a constant battle between what you know and what they tell you to believe. If someone lies to your face and calls it love, they are showing you exactly how much they value your heart, and that value is $0. So ask yourself this: how many times have you accepted a lie because you wanted to believe in love? How many times have you silenced your intuition because you were afraid of the truth? How many times have you let someone's deception break you while they walked away unscathed? Lies are not love. And no matter how many times they say I love you, remember, these words mean nothing when the actions don't match. Love without honesty is just a beautiful illusion, and the longer you stay in it, the more painful the truth will be when it finally comes crashing down. Lies are more than just words. They are silent assassins that creep into a relationship and slowly suffocate the very thing that holds it together: trust. When someone lies to your face and calls it love, they are not just deceiving you, they are rewriting reality, making you question your own instincts, your own perception, your own heart. And think about it, love is supposed to be safe. It's supposed to be the one place where you can be vulnerable without fear. But what happens when the person you trust the most is the one who feeds you lies? What happens when the very foundation of your relationship is built on deception? You begin to lose yourself. You stop trusting your own judgment, because every time you feel like something is wrong, they convince you otherwise. They look you in the eye, tell you what you need to hear, and leave you doubting your own intuition. That's not love. That's control. And here's the painful part: lies don't just break your trust, they break you. They make you believe in something that was never real. They make you invest in a dream that only exists in your heart while they live in a reality full of secrets. And the more you believe their words, the deeper you sink into the illusion they have created. But what happens when the truth finally comes out? What happens when the mask slips and you realize that everything you held on to was a lie? It shatters you. Because it's not just about the betrayal itself, it's about all the times you defended them, all the times you ignored your instincts, all the times you convinced yourself that their love was real. You replay every conversation, every promise, every moment, trying to figure out what was true and what was fiction. And that's the part that hurts the most, not just that they lied, but that you believe them. Lies are not mistakes. Mistakes are accidental. Lies are calculated. A person doesn't just lie without thinking. They lie because they know the truth will cost them something. They lie to protect themselves, not you. And if someone truly loves you, why would they need to deceive you? Why would they risk losing your trust if they actually valued it? The answer is simple: they wouldn't. And maybe you're thinking, but they apologized. They said they wouldn't do it again. But let me ask you this: how many times have they said that before? How many times have you forgiven only to be lied to again? People who lie as a pattern don't stop because they feel guilty. They stop when they lose access to you. They stop when their lies no longer serve them. And if you keep giving them another chance, all you're doing is teaching them that they can deceive you without consequences. A person who loves you will never put you in a position where you have to question their honesty. They won't make you feel like a fool for believing in them. They won't twist reality to suit their own needs while making you doubt your own. If someone lies to you and calls it love, they are not protecting you, they are protecting themselves. And if you allow it to continue, you are sacrificing your own peace for the sake of an illusion. A love should not leave you questioning your own worth. Love should not feel like a maze of deception. If someone cannot be honest with you, they do not deserve you. Because real love, true, deep, meaningful love has no space for lies. Betrayal 2. Repeated disrespect. Respect is not something you beg for. It is something that should be given freely in any real relationship. When someone truly cares about you, respect is automatic. It's in the way they speak to you, the way they treat you, the way they handle conflict, and the way they value your presence. Disrespect, on the other hand, is a slow poison. It doesn't always come in the form of loud arguments or blatant insults. Sometimes it's subtle. It starts as a small jab, a dismissive tone, a joke at your expense. And at first you brush it off because you don't want to overreact. You don't want to be too sensitive. You convince yourself that it was nothing. But it was something. It was the beginning of a pattern. Repeated disrespect is not an accident. It's a behavior. A person who disrespects you once and gets away with it will do it again. And the second time it will be a little worse. The third time they'll push the boundary even further. Because each time you let it slide, they learn something, you'll tolerate it. They learn that their words, their actions, their lack of regard for your feelings don't come with consequences. And once they realize that, their disrespect only grows stronger. At first, it might just be a joke at your expense, something they say in front of friends to get a laugh. Maybe it's a little teasing about your insecurities, something they claim is just playful. But what happens when that teasing doesn't stop? What happens when you tell them that it hurts and they keep doing it anyway? That's not a joke, that's intentional disrespect. Then it escalates. Maybe they start dismissing your opinions, interrupting you mid-sentence like your voice doesn't matter. Maybe they roll their eyes when you speak, sigh when you express your feelings, or act like your emotions are an inconvenience. Maybe they start talking down to you, using a condescending tone, making you feel like you're less than them. And every time you let it go, every time you tell yourself it's not a big deal, they take another inch and another, then another, until one day you realize that you're standing in a relationship where you are not valued at all. Disrespect doesn't just affect your relationship, it affects you. It changes the way you see yourself. The more you accept it, the more it chips away at your confidence. You start doubting your worth. You start questioning if you're overreacting, if you're being too demanding by simply wanting to be treated with basic human decency. But let me tell you something, you are not asking for too much. The bare minimum in any relationship should be respect. You should never have to explain why you deserve to be spoken to with kindness. You should never have to convince someone to value your feelings. And don't fall into the trap of believing that their disrespect is your fault. That if you were better, if you did more, if you changed yourself, they would treat you differently. No, people do not mistreat you because of who you are. They mistreat you because of who they are. A disrespectful person will find a reason to be disrespectful, no matter how much love you give them, no matter how much you try to prove your worth. Because their behavior is not about you, it's about their own lack of character. And here's the truth about people who repeatedly disrespect you: they know exactly what they're doing. They know that their words sting, they know that their actions hurt, but they don't care enough to stop. That's what makes disrespect dangerous. It's a reflection of their mindset, not just a mistake. Someone who respects you will stop the moment they realize they've hurt you. They will listen. They will change. But someone who continues to cross the line after you've told them how you feel, that's not someone who cares about you, that's someone who enjoys having power over you. Because that's what repeated disrespect is. It's not just rudeness. It's a way of controlling you, of making you feel smaller so that they can feel bigger. It's a slow, steady erosion of your self-worth until you start believing that this is all you deserve. Until you stop standing up for yourself. Until you start excusing their behavior instead of demanding better. And maybe you've tried to talk to them about it. Maybe you've had the conversations, laid out your feelings, explained how their words and actions make you feel. But if someone truly respects you, you won't have to keep repeating yourself. If they truly value you, they will make the effort to change. If you find yourself constantly having the same argument, constantly reminding them how to treat you, constantly asking for the bare minimum of decency, then the problem isn't that they don't understand, it's that they don't care. Love without respect is not love at all. It's possession. It's convenience. It's someone keeping you around because you benefit them, not because they actually appreciate you. And if you stay thinking that one day they'll wake up and realize your worth, you are only prolonging your own suffering. Because a person who truly values you will never have to be convinced to respect you. And don't be fooled by the cycle, the moments where they suddenly treat you better, where they act kind and loving after being cruel. That's not real change. That's them making sure you don't leave. Because a disrespectful person knows when they've gone too far. They know when you're about to walk away. So they reel you back in with apologies, with affection, with just enough kindness to make you doubt yourself. And the moment they feel secure again, the moment they know you're staying, the disrespect returns stronger than before. You don't need to explain why you deserve respect. You don't need to beg for it. You don't need to fight every day just to be treated with dignity. The moment you have to repeatedly ask someone to respect you is the moment you need to realize that they never truly did. Because respect is not a privilege, it's the bare minimum. And anyone who refuses to give it to you is showing you exactly who they are. Disrespect in a relationship is not just about words, it's about a deeper attitude. A mindset that tells you exactly how someone sees you. It's not always loud, not always obvious, and that's what makes it so dangerous. It can slip in through a sarcastic comment, a dismissive glance, an ignored message, or an undermining response. Over time, it begins to reshape how you see yourself, how you navigate the relationship, how you interact with the world. Because the longer you tolerate it, the more it embeds itself into your reality. At first, you make excuses for them. You tell yourself that they had a bad day, that they didn't mean it that way, that maybe you're reading too much into things. You convince yourself that they still love you, because love and disrespect can't exist in the same space, right? But here's the hard truth: love without respect is not love at all. Someone can claim to love you and still treat you poorly. Someone can say all the right words but show you with their actions that they do not value you. And that's the trick of repeated disrespect. It makes you question yourself instead of questioning them. It makes you wonder if you're the problem, if you're overreacting, if you're expecting too much. But let me be clear, expecting to be spoken to with kindness is not asking for too much. Expecting to be treated with dignity is not asking for too much. Expecting someone to acknowledge your feelings, to listen to you, to value your presence is not asking for too much. The real problem isn't that you're demanding too much, it's that they are giving too little. And if you've been in a relationship where disrespect happens over and over again, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You felt that sinking feeling in your chest when they belittle you in front of others. You've experienced that frustration when they brush off your feelings like they don't matter. You've replayed conversations in your mind, wondering why they seem to have so much patience, so much respect for everyone else except for you. And maybe you've convinced yourself that if you just love them harder, if you just prove yourself more, if you just become easier to deal with, they will finally treat you the way you deserve. But let me tell you something, respect is not something you earn by shrinking yourself. It's not something you gain by becoming less difficult, less outspoken, less you. A person who loves you the right way will not need you to be less of yourself in order to treat you right. Because here's what repeated disrespect does: it teaches you to settle. It trains you to lower your standards. It makes you believe that being talked down to, ignored, insulted, or mocked is just a part of love. But that is not love. That is manipulation. That is control. That is someone testing your limits, seeing how much they can get away with, seeing if you will continue to stay no matter how poorly they treat you. And the worst part, the more you tolerate, the harder it becomes to walk away. The more you excuse, the more normal it feels. And before you know it, you are stuck in a cycle where your self-worth is chipped away piece by piece, until you no longer recognize the strong, confident, deserving person you once were. But you don't have to stay in that cycle. You don't have to keep explaining why you deserve to be treated well. You don't have to keep giving second, third, fourth chances to someone who refuses to change. You don't have to keep proving your worth to someone who refuses to see it. Because the truth is, the moment you have to repeatedly ask for respect is the moment you need to realize that it was never really there to begin with. Betrayal 3, making you feel unloved on purpose. Love is supposed to feel warm. It's supposed to feel safe. It's supposed to be the place where you can let down your guard, where you don't have to second guess yourself, where you don't have to fight for someone's attention, affection, or kindness. Love is supposed to be given freely, not dangled in front of you like a prize you have to win. But when someone makes you feel unloved on purpose, they are not just hurting you, they are controlling you. They are pulling the strings of your emotions, deciding when you get to feel worthy and when you don't. At first, it's subtle. They pull away just enough to make you wonder what's wrong. They stop texting back as quickly. They don't look at you the same way. They start acting distant. But when you ask what's wrong, they brush it off. Nothing they say. You're overthinking. And maybe you believe them, you convince yourself that you are reading too much into it. But deep down you feel it. That shift, that change, that sudden deliberate withholding of love. Then it gets worse. They stop saying the things they used to say. They stop doing the little things that once made you feel special. They don't compliment you anymore. They don't check in on you. They don't ask how your day was. And when you bring it up, they make you feel like you're needy, like you're too much. Like love is a favor they are giving you, not something you should naturally expect in a relationship. And this is where the real damage begins. Because when someone makes you feel unloved on purpose, it's not just about what they withhold, it's about what it does to your mind. You start questioning yourself, you start wondering what you did wrong, you start replaying conversations, looking for clues, searching for the mistake you must have made to make them pull away. But you didn't do anything wrong. This is what they want you to chase them. They want you to seek their approval. They want you to feel off balance so they can be the one who decides when you feel good again. Because that's what this is. It's not just neglect, it's control. It's emotional manipulation. When someone truly loves you, they will not play games with your heart. They will not make you feel insecure just to keep you under their control. They will not make you beg for their affection just so they can feel powerful. But a person who enjoys power over you will do exactly that. They will give you just enough love to keep you from leaving, then take it away the moment you feel safe. And you know what happens next? You start working harder for their love. You start proving yourself. You start bending over backward to please them, thinking that if you can just be good enough, they will go back to the person they used to be. But they won't. Because this is not about you, it's about them. It's about the way they see relationships, the way they hold on to control, the way they feed off your insecurity. They make you feel unloved, not because they don't care, but because they know it keeps you stuck. And the worst part, you start accepting it. You start normalizing the coldness. You start believing that love is supposed to feel this way, like a constant test, like something you have to earn. But love is not supposed to feel like that. Love is not a guessing game. It is not an emotional roller coaster where one day you feel like the most important person in the world, and the next day you feel invisible. Real love does not disappear when it's inconvenient. Real love does not punish you with silence. Real love does not make you feel like you are hard to love. But when someone intentionally makes you feel unloved, they plant a seed of doubt inside you. A doubt that makes you feel like maybe, just maybe, you are unworthy of the kind of love you dream of. A doubt that keeps you holding on even when you know you should walk away. A doubt that makes you accept the bare minimum because deep down you fear you may not deserve more. And that's the trap. That's how they keep you. They break you down little by little, making you crave their validation, making you work for their love, making you grateful for the moments they choose to give you attention, no matter how small. And the moment they see you pulling away, that's when they give you just enough to keep you from leaving. A kind word, a soft touch, a sudden burst of affection that reminds you why you fell in love with them in the first place. And just like that, you stay. But let me tell you something, you don't have to live in that cycle. You don't have to settle for love that comes in pieces, love that feels like a game, love that leaves you feeling empty more often than it makes you feel whole. You don't have to keep proving yourself to someone who intentionally withholds their love to make you chase them. Because love should never feel like something you have to earn. It should be given freely, consistently, wholeheartedly. And if someone is making you feel unloved on purpose, they are showing you exactly who they are. They are showing you that they do not love you in the way that you deserve. And the moment you accept that truth, the moment you see their actions for what they are, is the moment you take your power back. Because love, real love, should never leave you questioning your worth. When someone makes you feel unloved on purpose, they are not just neglecting you, they are emotionally starving you. They are taking something that should be abundant, natural, and freely given and turning it into a scarce resource, something you have to fight for, beg for, prove yourself for. And that's where the damage begins. Because love is supposed to feel secure. It is supposed to feel like home. It is supposed to make you feel seen, valued, and cherished. But when someone deliberately withholds their love, they make you doubt all of that. They make you question yourself, your worth, and your ability to be loved. And the hardest part, it's intentional. They know what they're doing. They know the power they hold over you when they pull back. They know that the moment they stop showing affection, the moment they stop speaking to you with warmth, the moment they stop looking at you, you will start chasing. You will start trying harder. You will start giving more and expecting less, and that's exactly what they want. Because a person who plays these emotional games doesn't just want love, they want control. They don't want a relationship based on mutual care and respect. They want a relationship where they are in charge, where they decide when you feel loved and when you don't. And they do it in a way that's so subtle, so manipulative, that you start blaming yourself instead of seeing what's really happening. You start thinking, maybe I'm being too sensitive, maybe I'm too emotional, maybe I expect too much, and that's the biggest lie of all. Because expecting love, kindness, and consistency is not too much. Expecting someone to treat you with care is not too much. Expecting someone to love you the way you love them is not too much. But when you are with someone who makes you feel unloved on purpose, they train you to believe that it is. They make you believe that love is conditional, that you have to earn it, that it can be taken away at any moment if you don't act the way they want you to. And slowly, without realizing it, you start changing yourself. You start suppressing your emotions because you don't want to push them further away. You start walking on eggshells, trying not to upset them. You start accepting the bare minimum, just grateful for any scraps of love they decide to throw your way. And that's where they win. Because once they have you in that place, once they have you doubting yourself, once they have you believing that their love is a privilege rather than something that should be freely given, they know they can do whatever they want. They know they can neglect you, ignore you, mistreat you, and you will still fight for them, still try to prove that you are worthy of their love. But let me tell you something, love is not supposed to feel like this. Love is not a mind game. Love is not something that disappears when it's inconvenient. Love is not a prize you have to earn. If someone truly loves you, they will not make you feel unimportant just to keep you in check. They will not pull away just to make you chase them. They will not create distance just to see how far you're willing to go to close the gap. Real love stays. It reassures. It does not punish you with silence. It does not make you wonder if you are loved. It does not leave you feeling empty, anxious, or desperate for affection. When someone truly loves you, they make you feel safe, secure, and valued. They make you feel like you are enough exactly as you are. So if you are with someone who intentionally makes you feel unloved, you need to recognize what's happening. You need to see that it is not a reflection of your worth, it is a reflection of their manipulation. And the moment you stop accepting it, the moment you stop chasing, the moment you use that love should never feel like something you have to beg for, is the moment you reclaim your power, because you deserve a love that does not play games with your heart. You deserve a love that is real. Betrayal 4. Betraying your secrets. Trust is the foundation of every strong relationship. It's the glue that holds two people together, the unspoken agreement that says, I am safe with you. When you open up to someone, when you share the parts of yourself that no one else sees, you are making yourself vulnerable. You are giving them access to your fears, your struggles, your past, your dreams. You are handing them the deepest parts of you, believing they will protect them. But when someone betrays your secrets, they do more than break your trust. They shatter the very bond that held the relationship together. At first, you don't want to believe it. You tell yourself that maybe they didn't mean to share your personal business. Maybe it just slipped out. Maybe they didn't realize how much it mattered to you. But deep down, you feel it. That sting of betrayal, that realization that something sacred has been violated. And no matter how much you try to reason with yourself, the truth remains. They knew exactly what they were doing. Because when someone shares your secrets, they are not just revealing information, they are exposing your vulnerability. They are taking the parts of you that you trusted them with and turning them into gossip, into entertainment, into leverage. And the worst part, they don't see the damage they've done. They don't feel the weight of your disappointment, your hurt, your humiliation. To them, it was just a conversation, just a passing remark, just words, but to you, it was a betrayal that cannot be undone. You start questioning everything. If they could reveal this, what else could they share? If they didn't respect this boundary, what other lines are they willing to cross? Suddenly you find yourself hesitating before you speak. You catch yourself holding back, filtering your words, guarding your emotions. And that's how trust dies, not all at once, but slowly in small, painful moments where you realize that the person you once confided in is no longer safe. And here's what makes it even worse: they don't always stop at just sharing your secrets. Sometimes they twist them, they exaggerate. They tell your story in a way that benefits them, that makes them look better, that paints you in a certain light. And before you even have the chance to defend yourself, your truth is no longer yours. It's out there in the hands of people who have no right to it, reshaped and redefined by someone who was never supposed to share it in the first place. You start to see their true nature, because a person who truly values you will protect your secrets as if they were their own. They will guard your words, your confessions, your fears. They will understand that when you open up to them, it's not just about sharing information, it's about trust. It's about connection. It's about saying, I trust you enough to let you see me. And when someone betrays that, they are showing you that they do not value you the way you thought they did. And maybe they apologize. Maybe they tell you they didn't mean to hurt you. Maybe they promise they won't do it again. But you've seen the truth now. You felt what it's like to have your privacy taken from you, to have your words used against you, to have your deepest thoughts treated like nothing more than conversation fodder. And once that happens, you can never unsee it. You can never go back to the way things were. Because the damage isn't just in the betrayal itself, it's in what it does to you afterward. You start pulling back. You start keeping things to yourself even when you want to share. You start second guessing whether you can truly trust anyone again. And that's what betrayal does. It doesn't just hurt you in the moment. It changes the way you move through life. It makes you cautious, guarded, hesitant. And that is why betraying a person's secrets is not something that can be easily forgiven. It's not just a mistake. It's a violation. It's a clear sign that this person does not value your trust or the responsibility that comes with knowing someone's deepest truths. Because trust is not something you can rebuild overnight. It's not something that can be fixed with a simple apology. It takes time. It takes consistency. It takes proof that the person truly understands the depth of their betrayal and is willing to earn back what they lost. But let me tell you this, most people who betray your secrets will do it again. Because if they were willing to risk your trust once, what's stopping them from doing it again? And that's the hardest lesson of all. The realization that not everyone is worthy of your vulnerability. Not everyone deserves to know the things that keep you up at night, the fears that weigh on your heart, the dreams you haven't yet spoken into existence, because the wrong person will take those things and use them against you. They will turn your trust into ammunition. They will share your struggles for attention. They will make your pain part of their story. But the right person, they will hold your secrets like a treasure. They will protect them, honor them, keep them safe. They will understand that trust is not just given, it is earned. And once lost, it is nearly impossible to get back. When someone betrays your secrets, they are not just violating your privacy, they are violating the trust that held the relationship together. They are turning something sacred into something casual, something intimate into something public. And once that trust is broken, it is never the same again. You might try to rebuild it. You might try to pretend that things can go back to the way they were, but deep down, some betrayals cut too deep to be undone. What makes this kind of betrayal so painful is that it is not just about words, it is about the bond that those words represented. It is about the vulnerability you allowed yourself to feel, believing that you were safe. And when that safety is taken away, it doesn't just hurt, it changes you. It makes you think twice before opening up again. It makes you wonder if anyone can truly be trusted. And that is what betrayal does. It doesn't just damage your relationship with the person who hurt you. It affects how you view relationships as a whole. You start second guessing the intentions of others. You hesitate before sharing anything too personal. You hold back, even with the people who have never given you a reason to doubt them. Because once you've been betrayed, it's hard to forget that feeling. It's hard to ignore the possibility that it could happen again. And the person who betrayed you, they might not even understand the damage they've done. They might brush it off, minimize it, act as if it wasn't a big deal. They might even blame you, saying you overreacted, that you're too sensitive, that it wasn't that serious. And that only makes the betrayal worse. Because now not only have they hurt you, but they refuse to acknowledge the depth of their actions. They refuse to take responsibility. They refuse to see the pain they caused. That's when you realize that this person never truly valued your trust to begin with. Because someone who values trust would never treat it so carelessly. They would never risk losing something so important for the sake of gossip, attention, or convenience. They would never take what was given in confidence and use it for their own purposes. They would never betray you and then try to make you feel like you were wrong for being hurt. And that is why this kind of betrayal should never be forgiven easily. Because it is not just a mistake, it is a reflection of who they are. It is a reflection of their character, their values, their ability or inability to honor the trust placed in them. And if someone can betray you once and justify it, they will do it again. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually when the opportunity presents itself, when it benefits them, they will do it again. That is why you must be careful about who you trust. That is why you must protect your heart, your secrets, your vulnerability, because not everyone deserves access to the deepest parts of you. And once you learn that lesson, you will never allow yourself to be betrayed the same way again. When someone betrays your secrets, they are telling you something about who they are. They are showing you their lack of integrity, their lack of respect, their inability to value the sacredness of trust. And that is not something to overlook. That is not something to excuse. Because if they can betray your words today, what else are they willing to betray tomorrow? Betrayal 5, cheating, mental or physical. Cheating is not just about the act itself. It's not just about physical betrayal or sneaky text messages or stolen moments behind your back. It's about the destruction of trust, the erosion of intimacy, the shattering of something that was meant to be sacred. It's about the moment you realize that the person you gave your heart to, the person you believed in, the person you saw a future with, has betrayed you in the most personal way possible. And that pain is something that doesn't just go away, it stays with you. It rewrites the way you see love. It makes you question everything. Because cheating is not just a mistake. It's not just a bad decision. It's a choice. A choice to disrespect the relationship. A choice to put their desires above your worth. A choice to lie to your face while they pursue something or someone else behind your back. And that choice, no matter how much they try to explain it away, says everything you need to know about how much they truly valued you. And let's be clear, cheating isn't always physical. It doesn't always look like sneaking around in the middle of the night. Sometimes it starts small. A secret conversation, a lingering look, a message that should have never been sent. A connection that starts to cross boundaries, one step at a time. And before you know it, they are emotionally invested in someone else while you're still believing in love that no longer exists the way you thought it did. That's why emotional cheating is just as devastating, sometimes even more than physical betrayal, because it means they gave a part of themselves to someone else. They shared thoughts, emotions, dreams, things that should have been for you and you alone. They built a bond outside of your relationship while still coming home and looking you in the eyes as if nothing was wrong. And that is a level of deception that cuts deep. Because when someone cheats emotionally, it's not just a fleeting mistake, it's a pattern of dishonesty. It's a series of choices that lead to betrayal. It's a slow and deliberate breaking of the vows of loyalty, trust, and love. And what happens when you find out? What happens when the truth comes crashing down? The excuses start rolling in. It didn't mean I wasn't thinking, I was lonely, it was just a moment of weakness. They will say anything to minimize it, anything to shift the blame, anything to make you question your own anger and pain. They will try to convince you that it wasn't that serious, that you're overreacting, that if you really love them, you'd find a way to forgive. But deep down, you know the truth. You know that love is not supposed to feel like this. You know that true love does not make you feel unwanted, unworthy, or replaceable. Because cheating is not just about the moment it happens, it's about the effect it has afterward. It's about the trust that is destroyed, the insecurities that grow, the questions that never stop spinning in your head. It's about the way you start doubting yourself, wondering what you did wrong, wondering if you weren't, and if you're wondering if you'll ever be able to trust again. It's about the way you start looking at love differently, wondering if anyone is truly loyal, if anyone is truly honest, if anyone will ever love you the way you love them. And the person who cheated, They might try to come back. They might apologize, swear it was a mistake, promise that it will never happen again. But the problem is, apologies don't erase betrayal. Promises don't rebuild trust overnight. And no matter how much they try to convince you that they've changed, you will never forget how they made you feel. You will never forget the moment you realized they were willing to risk your heart for a moment of pleasure or attention. You will never forget the pain of realizing that the love you thought was solid was not as strong as you believed. Because here's the truth, when someone cheats, they are telling you exactly who they are. They are showing you that they are capable of deception, capable of betrayal, capable of looking you in the eye while living a lie. And that is not something you can just overlook. That is not something you can just push to the side in the name of love. Because real love does not betray. Real love does not make you feel like you are an option. Real love does not risk everything just to chase a moment of temporary desire. And if they did it once, what's stopping them from doing it again? If they were able to justify their betrayal the first time, what makes you think they won't find another excuse in the future? What makes you think that their regret is real and not just fear of losing you? Because someone who truly loves you does not put you in this position to begin with. Someone who truly loves you does not risk losing you over something so shallow, so selfish, so destructive. That's why forgiving cheating is not just about the other person, it's about you. It's about valuing yourself enough to walk away from someone who showed you they could not be loyal. It's about respecting yourself enough to refuse to settle for someone who betrayed you and expected you to just get over it. It's about knowing your worth, knowing what you deserve, and knowing that love should never make you feel like you are in competition with someone else. Because cheating isn't just about them betraying you, it's about what it does to you. It's about the way it makes you question your own worth. It's about the way it makes you feel like you were never enough. It's about the way it makes you struggle to trust again, even when you find someone new. It's about the way it changes the way you love, making you hesitant, guarded, afraid to open up again. And that is why cheating is not something that should ever be forgiven easily. Because it is not just a mistake, it is a choice. A choice that speaks volumes about who they are, about what they value, about how little they respected you. And when someone shows you that kind of disrespect, you have two choices. You can try to forget, try to pretend it didn't happen, try to convince yourself that things can go back to the way they were. Or you can stand up for yourself. You can walk away from the person who betrayed you. You can refuse to accept anything less than real, loyal, and honest love. Because at the end of the day, you deserve someone who will choose you. Every day, in every way, without hesitation, without question, without betrayal. Cheating is not just a single act, it is a mindset, a reflection of who a person truly is when no one is watching. It is a betrayal that runs deeper than most people realize, because it is not just about stepping outside of the relationship, it is about stepping over the person who loved them the most. It is about disregarding everything that was built, everything that was promised, everything that was supposed to be sacred. And the worst part, it is almost never just a mistake. It is a series of choices, a slow buildup of deception, a collection of moments where they knew exactly what they were doing and still did it anyway. That is why cheating, whether mental or physical, should never be forgiven lightly. Because when you forgive too easily, you send a message that your love is unconditional, even when they betray you, that your self-respect is negotiable, that you will tolerate deception as long as they say the right words afterward. But love should never cost you your dignity. Forgiveness should never come at the expense of your self-worth. And let's talk about emotional cheating again, because too many people try to dismiss it as if it doesn't count. Emotional betrayal is just as real, just as painful, just as damaging, sometimes even more than physical infidelity. Because when someone cheats emotionally, they are choosing to invest in someone else while still holding on to you. They are seeking attention, validation, and emotional intimacy from someone else while expecting you to stay faithful. And what does that say about their love? What does that say about their commitment? A person who truly loves you does not put themselves in a position to betray you mentally or physically. A person who truly loves you does not seek out connections that cross boundaries. A person who truly loves you does not flirt, entertain, or engage with anyone in a way that would make you question your place in their life. And if they do, if they seek attention elsewhere, if they allow someone else to take up space in their heart while still keeping you around, then they have already cheated, even if they haven't touched anyone else. Because cheating is not just about the body, it is about where they choose to place their heart, their loyalty, their effort. And once someone cheats, everything changes. The way you look at them changes. The way you feel around them changes. The way you see yourself changes. You begin to wonder if you were ever truly loved at all. You replay moments in your head, searching for signs you might have missed. You ask yourself painful questions. Was I not enough? Did I do something wrong? How could they do this to me? And even apologize, even if they beg, even if they swear it was a one-time thing, you will always wonder. You will always question. You will always carry the weight of that betrayal. And here's the harsh reality: if someone cheats and is forgiven too easily, they will almost always do it again. Maybe not immediately, maybe not in the same way, but they will do it again because they know they can. They will convince themselves that as long as they say the right words, as long as they show a little remorse, as long as they promise to change, they will be allowed back in. But real love does not work like that. Real love does not survive on empty apologies. Real love does not thrive in an environment where betrayal is excused. When someone cheats on you, they are showing you exactly how much they respect you. They are revealing how little they value the love you gave them. They are proving that your heart was never their priority. And that is something you cannot ignore. That is something you cannot overlook. Because when you forgive a cheater too easily, you are not just giving them another chance, you are giving them permission. Permission to hurt you again. Permission to lie to you again. Permission to betray you again. And let's be clear, walking away is not about revenge. It is not about making them suffer. It is about recognizing your own worth. It is about understanding that you deserve better. It is about knowing that love should never make you feel like an option, like a backup plan, like someone they only choose when it's convenient. Real love does not put you in a position to question your place in someone's life. Real love does not risk everything for a moment of pleasure or attention. Real love does not make you feel like you are in competition with someone else. So if someone has cheated on you, whether mentally or physically, understand this: you do not owe them another chance. You do not owe them your loyalty after they have broken it. You do not owe them your love after they have thrown it away. What you owe is something to yourself: to walk away from anything and anyone that does not respect you, to refuse to settle for less than the love you deserve, to never allow yourself to be treated like an afterthought again. Because once you see the truth, once you realize that a cheater is not just someone who made a mistake, but someone who made a conscious choice, you will never be able to unsee it. And once you recognize your worth, you will never allow yourself to be cheated on again. Betrayal 6. Turning others against you. There is a kind of betrayal that cuts even deeper than lies, deeper than disrespect, deeper than infidelity. It is when the person you trusted, the person you stood by, the person you gave your heart to, turns others against you. It is not just about what they do behind your back, but about how they manipulate, how they twist reality, how they paint you as the villain while they play the victim. It is a betrayal that leaves you standing alone, questioning everything, wondering how the person you once loved could be so ruthless, so calculating, so heartless. Because this kind of betrayal is not just about breaking your trust, it is about breaking your reputation, your relationships, your sense of safety. It is about turning your own circle against you, making you feel isolated, making you doubt your own truth. And the most dangerous part, you often don't even see it coming. It starts quietly, subtly, like a whisper in the dark. A few words here, twisted story there. Little seeds of doubt planted in the minds of people you care about. And before you know it, people are looking at you differently. They are pulling away. They are questioning you, not them. And you can't even understand why. That's the power of manipulation. That's the power of someone who knows how to play the game, who knows how to make themselves look like the innocent one while making you look like the problem. And they do it with such precision, such careful planning, that by the time you realize what's happening, the damage has already been done. You're standing in the wreckage of your relationships, wondering how the people who were once in your corner are now standing against you. And let's be clear, this is not an accident. This is intentional, because intentional, they are not just trying to hurt you, they are trying to control how others see you. They are trying to control the narrative. They are trying to make sure that if things fall apart, they don't take the blame. They are trying to protect their own image at your expense. And they do it without a second thought. Because some people cannot handle the truth. Some people cannot face the consequences of their own actions. Some people would rather destroy your reputation than admit their own faults. So instead of owning up to their mistakes, they twist the story. They shift the blame. They tell half-truths, leaving out the parts that would expose them. And they do it in such a convincing way that even people who once knew your heart begin to question you. They will say you were the problem. They will say you were difficult, controlling, unreasonable. They will say you were the one who pushed them away, the one who made things unbearable. the one who turned cold for no reason. And the worst part, they will do it with sincerity. They will say it with conviction. They will act like they are the one who was hurt, like they are the victim, like they had no choice but to turn to others for support. And the people around you, they won't know any better. They won't know that they are being manipulated. They won't see the lies for what they are, because the person who betrayed you has already built their case. They have already shaped the story in a way that makes them look innocent. They have already poisoned minds before you even get a chance to defend yourself. And when you finally realize what's happening, when you finally understand that you are being painted as the villain, it is one of the loneliest feelings in the world. Because not only have you lost the person you love, but now you are losing the people around you too. And the worst part, you start to feel like there's nothing you can do about it. Because trying to defend yourself only makes you look desperate. Trying to explain the truth only makes you look guilty. Trying to prove that you are not the person they are making you out to be feels impossible when the lies have already spread too far. And this is what makes this type of betrayal so cruel. It does not just hurt you in the moment, it changes the way people see you. It creates wounds that don't just heal with time. It makes you afraid to trust, afraid to let people in, afraid that no matter how good of a person you are, someone will always be waiting to twist the truth against you. But here's the thing, the truth does not stay buried forever. Lies can only hold power for so long. Because people who betray you in this way, people who manipulate and deceive, will eventually show their true colors. They will eventually slip up. They will eventually expose themselves. Because a person who lies will always need to lie again to keep their story straight. A person who manipulates will always need to control more and more people to keep their version of the truth alive. And eventually that kind of deception catches up. But by the time the truth comes out, the damage is often already done. The people who turned against you, some of them will come back, but it won't be the same. Some of them will see what they missed, but you will never be able to forget that they believed the lies in the first place. And some of them will never see the truth at all. Some of them will hold on to the false story even when reality is staring them in the face. And that's when you realize who was really for you and who wasn't. Because betrayal does not just reveal who your enemies are, it reveals who your real friends are. It shows you who was willing to believe the worst about you without even hearing your side. It shows you who was quick to turn their back on you the moment a little doubt was planted in their mind. It shows you who really knows you and who only pretended to. And that is painful. That is heartbreaking. But it is also necessary. Because sometimes the worst betrayals clear the way for the most important truths. And the truth is this: anyone who is willing to turn people against you is not someone who ever truly loved you. Because love does not seek to destroy. Love does not spread lies. Love does not try to isolate you or damage your reputation. Love protects, love defends, love stands by you even when things are hard. And if someone was willing to betray you in this way, if someone was willing to take everything you built and use it against you, then they were never really for you to begin with. And that realization, that is what sets you free. Because once you know the truth, once you see people for who they really are, you can stop fighting for their approval. You can stop chasing people who turn their back on you. You can stop wasting time trying to prove yourself to those who never truly valued you. Because the people who matter, the people who are meant to be in your life, will see through the lies. They will know your heart. They will stand by you when it matters most. And the rest? The ones who believe the worst, let them go. Let them stay with the person who deceived them. Let them learn the truth in their own time. Because in the end, you are not here to beg for people's loyalty. You are not here to prove your worth to those who doubted you. You are here to walk forward with your head held high, knowing that the real ones will always find their way back to you. There is a special kind of pain that comes from being betrayed in this way, the kind that lingers long after the situation is over. Because when someone turns others against you, they do not just take away a relationship. They take away your sense of safety, your sense of belonging, your ability to trust the people around you. They force you to question the very foundation of your relationships, to wonder if the people in your life are truly for you, or just waiting for the right moment to walk away. It is an attack on your character, your integrity, your reputation. And that is what makes it so damaging, because words are powerful. Words can shape the way people see you, the way they interact with you, the way they remember you. And when someone you once loved, someone you once trusted uses their words to turn people against you, they are not just lying about you. They are rewriting your story. They are changing the way others perceive you. They are making sure that their version of the truth is the one that people believe. And it is not always the big, obvious lies that do the most damage. Sometimes it is the subtle manipulations, the quiet whispers, the carefully placed doubts. It is the way they twist small details, the way they frame you as the bad guy without ever saying it outright. They might say, I don't want to talk bad about them, but and then proceed to do exactly that. They might act like they are concerned, like they are just sharing their side of the story, like they are only telling people the truth to protect themselves. But in reality, what they are doing is planting seeds of doubt, making people see you in a different light, setting the stage for your downfall while keeping their hands clean. And the hardest part? It often works. People believe them. People take their side. People pull away from you without even asking for your side of the story. Because let's be real, most people do not question the first thing they hear. Most people do not dig deeper. They take things at face value. They believe what is easiest to believe. And if the person who betrayed you plays their role well enough, they will convince everyone that they are the victim and you are the problem. And when you finally realize what has happened, when you finally understand that people have turned against you without even knowing the full truth, it is devastating. It makes you feel like you are standing in the middle of a battlefield with no armor, no allies, no way to fight back. Because how do you defend yourself against lies that have already been believed? How do you convince people of the truth when their minds have already been made up? How do you fight against an enemy who has already won the war before you even knew it started? And that is where the real pain comes in, not just from the betrayal itself, but from the realization that some people were so quick to believe the worst about you, that some people were so easily swayed, that the relationships you thought were solid, the friendships you thought were real, were not as strong as you believed. But here is the truth: people who are willing to turn against you without even hearing your side were never truly for you to begin with. People who believe lies about you without ever asking for the truth were never as loyal as they pretended to be. And that is a hard pill to swallow. But it is also the clarity you need. Because when someone betrays you in this way, they are not just exposing themselves, they are exposing everyone around you too. They are revealing who is truly in your corner and who was only there when it was convenient. And that is why you cannot waste your time trying to win people back. You cannot waste your energy trying to convince people of who you really are. Because the people who matter, the people who truly know you, will not need convincing. They will not turn against you just because someone else says they should. They will stand by you even when the lies are loud, even when the truth is hidden, even when it would be easier to walk away. And as for the ones who do believe the lies, let them go. Let them walk away. Let them stay with the person who betrayed you. Because at the end of the day, you do not need people in your life who are so easily swayed. You do not need people who can be turned against you with a few well-placed words. You do not need people who were never truly loyal to you in the first place. Because loyalty is not about convenience. Loyalty is not about believing the easiest version of the truth. Loyalty is about standing by someone even when the whole world is trying to turn you against them. And if someone was willing to throw away your relationship so easily, then they were never truly loyal to begin with. And that is why this type of betrayal is something you should never forgive lightly. Because it is not just about losing one person, it is about losing trust in multiple people. It is about realizing that some of the relationships you thought were real were built on a shaky foundation. And while that is painful, while that is heartbreaking, it is also a necessary lesson. Because once you go through something like this, once you experience this level of betrayal, you will never see people the same way again. You will become more careful, more selective, more guarded. And that is not a bad thing. That is growth. That is wisdom. That is learning to protect yourself from people who do not deserve access to you. And yes, it will hurt. Yes, it will make you question everything. Yes, it will make you feel like you are standing alone in a world that once felt full. But sometimes standing alone is better than standing with people who do not truly value you. Sometimes losing people is the only way to find out who is really worth keeping. And sometimes the worst betrayals are the ones that lead you to the greatest clarity. Betrayal 7, making you doubt your worth. There is a kind of betrayal that is slow, silent, and suffocating. It does not come with loud arguments or public humiliation. It does not happen in a single moment like a lie exposed or an act of infidelity discovered. No, this betrayal happens quietly over time, creeping into your mind like a poison. It is the betrayal of making you doubt your worth. It is the slow erosion of your confidence, your self-respect, your belief in yourself. It is someone chipping away at the foundation of who you are, not with a hammer, but with a whisper. At first, it does not even look like betrayal. It looks like a joke, a small criticism, a passing comment. You're being too sensitive, you're overreacting, you never get anything right. It looks like them helping you by pointing out your flaws. Like them being honest when they tell you what you lack. And you don't fight back at first because maybe they are right. Maybe you're being too sensitive. Maybe you do overreact. Maybe you are not as good as you think you are. So you let it slide. You push your feelings down. You convince yourself that they mean well, that they are just trying to help you be better. But over time, the words don't stop. The jokes start to feel a little sharper. The criticisms start to cut a little deeper. The way they look at you, the way they talk to you, it all starts to change. And you start to change too. You don't even realize it at first, but little by little, you start doubting yourself. You hesitate before speaking. You second guess your decisions. You apologize for things that are not your fault. You start shrinking, making yourself smaller because you don't want to be wrong. You don't want to be difficult. You don't want to give them another reason to remind you of your flaws. And that is how they take your power. That is how they betray you. Not by walking away, not by cheating, not by lying, but by making you doubt yourself so much that you stop believing in your own worth. Because once someone makes you feel like you are not enough, once they convince you that you are lucky just to have them, once they make you believe that no one else would want you, they can do whatever they want. They can treat you however they please. They can disrespect you, ignore you, take you for granted, and you won't leave. Because they have already convinced you that you are not worth more than this. They have already planted the idea that you should be grateful they are even here. And that is one of the deepest betrayals of all. Because love is supposed to lift you. Love is supposed to make you feel seen, valued, and appreciated. Love is supposed to remind you of your strength, not take it away. But when someone uses love as a weapon, when they manipulate your emotions and distort your reality, when they make you feel like you are never enough, what they are really doing is controlling you. And the more you believe them, the easier you are to control. And do not think for a second that this happens by accident. This is intentional. Because when you are strong, when you know your worth, when you stand tall, they cannot manipulate you. They cannot make you settle for less than you deserve. They cannot control you. But the moment they convince you that you are not enough, the moment they make you feel small, they have power over you. They can dictate how you see yourself, how you live, how much you tolerate. And once they have that power, they do not let go easily. They will remind you of every mistake you have ever made. They will make you feel guilty for things that were never your fault. They will compare you to others, making you feel like you are constantly in competition, like you always have something to prove. They will make you believe that no one else would love you the way they do, that you are too broken, too flawed, too difficult for anyone else to handle. And the more they say it, the more you believe it. Until one day you wake up and you do not even recognize yourself. You do not remember the person you used to be before them. The person who had dreams, who had confidence, who believed in their own worth. That person is gone, replaced by someone who hesitates, who doubts, who walks on eggshells just to avoid another blow to their self-esteem. And the saddest part? You do not even know when it happened. You do not even remember when you started believing the lies. But here's the truth. It was never you. It was never about you not being enough. It was never about you being difficult or sensitive or unworthy of love. It was always about them, about their need for control, about their own insecurities, about their inability to love in a way that does not involve breaking someone else down. Because people who truly love you do not make you doubt your worth. People who truly care about you do not make you feel small just so they can feel big. And once you realize that, once you see through the manipulation, everything changes. You start to hear their words differently. You start to recognize the patterns, the way they twist the truth, the way they use your kindness against you. And little by little, you start to reclaim yourself. You start to remember who you were before they convinced you otherwise. You start to see that you were never the problem. And the moment you take your power back, the moment you start believing in yourself again, they will panic. They will try to pull you back in. They will act like they never meant to hurt you, like they were just trying to help you, like they love you more than anything. Because the last thing they want is for you to realize your own worth. The last thing they want is for you to see that you do not need them. The last thing they want is for you to walk away and never look back. But by then it will be too late. Because once you know your worth, once you see the truth, you can never unsee it. You can never go back to the person who accepted less than they deserved. You can never go back to the person who believed the lies. You can never go back to the person who let someone else define their value. And when you finally walk away, when you finally choose yourself, they will realize the power you had all along. Because the truth is, they never took your worth from you. They only made you forget it. But now you remember, now you see yourself clearly, and now you will never let anyone make you doubt your worth again. There is nothing more dangerous than someone who slowly convinces you that you are not enough. Nothing more destructive than someone who makes you feel like you have to fight for their love, their approval, their validation. Because the moment they succeed in making you doubt yourself, they gain control over you, not just in your relationship with them, but in how you see yourself in every part of your life. This betrayal is not loud. It does not come with a single moment of heartbreak or an obvious act of disloyalty. No, this betrayal is quiet, insidious, creeping into your mind in ways you do not even recognize at first. It looks like love at the beginning. It looks like care, like concern, like someone who just wants the best for you. But then slowly it shifts. The compliments become fewer. The criticisms become sharper. The way they look at you, the way they talk to you, it all starts to make you feel like you are just a little less than you once thought you were. They do not tell you outright that you are not good enough. No, that would be too obvious. Instead, they do it in ways that make you question yourself. Are you sure you can do that? I don't think that's really your strength. Maybe you should just let me handle it. You always get so emotional. You're too much, you must. And so they do it through comparisons, through subtle jabs, through withholding affection, until you start to believe that maybe, just maybe, they are right. And the worst part, you start to adjust yourself to fit their expectations. You start to hold back, to shrink yourself, to change parts of who you are just to be more acceptable to them. You stop laughing as loud. Stop sharing your opinions so freely. Stop doing things you want. Stop because they made you feel like those things were silly, unimportant, or beneath you. You start questioning your intelligence, your attractiveness, your abilities. You wonder if maybe you are not as great as you once thought. You wonder if maybe they are the only one who would ever love you, because they have made you feel like you are difficult to love. And this is what makes this betrayal so cruel. Because unlike a lie that can be exposed, unlike a single act of cheating that can be proven, this is a betrayal that is no physical evidence. It is a betrayal that happens in your own mind, that rewires the way you see yourself. And by the time you recognize it, by the time you realize what has been done to you, you have already spent so much time believing the lie that unlearning it feels like climbing a mountain with no end in sight. And that is why this kind of betrayal cannot be forgiven easily. Because when someone makes you doubt your worth, they are not just hurting your feelings. They are not just being mean. They are stealing a piece of your identity. They are making you forget who you were before they came along. They are convincing you that you are less than you actually are, and in doing so, they are shaping the way you see yourself, the way you carry yourself, the way you allow others to treat you. Listen, forgiving some things makes you strong, but forgiving the wrong things makes you weak. Some betrayals are warnings, not wounds to heal. Some people don't deserve another chance. They deserve to watch you walk away without a single word. Protect your heart. Protect your peace. And never forgive these 7 betrayals, because the only thing worse than being betrayed is allowing it to happen twice. Now go out there and respect yourself enough to never settle for less than you deserve.